Alright, welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, Target Individual Experience, Target Individual Programming. It is Friday, May 22nd, I think. Yeah, May 22nd. I think it's after 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. I wanted to leave, but I had to go use the bathroom. I think I missed a few buses. And that's almost hurt my my damn back. Oh shit! I think I'm gonna miss that bus. See, I knew it. I knew it. I missed like 3 buses so far, and every one of them was coming in 9 minutes. Okay, so let's see. I guess this is a special number 9 tonight, all right? Because they're all 3 buses that I missed was coming in 9 minutes. So talk about the patterns. All right, the hijacking. Actually, not the hijacking, but the infiltration and the infiltration of the mass transit app. And so, they're able to manipulate the bus schedule at the time ETA of the buses. All right. Plus Pam went out tonight, and she came home already. So I was like, 'cause I text, I was like, I'm getting ready to leave. Oh, I missed the bus. Yeah, shoot. I don't know what. In my mind, I was like, okay, I got 4 minutes, I can make it. Hopefully, I don't have to be waiting out here for too long. Jeez, But yeah, I was like, yeah, I can make it. Nope. That's what happened when you forget that you can't walk normal pace. Don't happen too often. But yeah. So I forgot to mention that my daughter was home today from school in the NY Predators Dept using their sirens. Well, you guys didn't know because I usually do a video of me going to pick up from school. But I didn't, so, she was home. All right? And I think Monday's a holiday. Yeah, I was about to say, I ended up hurting my back sitting on that couch. I started to get a pain. And that spine hit that nerve. Oh shoot, I had to get up, and when I got up, I thought I had micro-tearing. It was on the middle left side of my buttocks. It just went limp, and it hurt so bad. But then yeah, NY Predators Dept, again, in-home surveillance, illegal surveillance. Thank you. Illegal surveillance. What the heck was he doing in the black vehicle? He literally stopped right there to let the truck pass. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? But they do something like that to get my attention, right? Again, talk about the color, right? Using the color black, color red. That's why I've been wearing red all week. Like I said, I told him I was gonna wear red all week. Right? Neutralize their color psychological attack, color psychological warfare. Neutralize it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cool out here tonight. All right, let me check the bus schedule. It better not say 9 minutes. If it says 9 minutes, I'm gonna show you guys. So just but maybe they won't do it because again, exposing what it is that they're doing. Oh, look at that, 22 minutes. 22 minutes. See that? If I was upstairs, it shit would have said 9 minutes, but it's 22 minutes. Okay. So I've been trying to get in touch with my son, my eldest, you know, since a few days ago when his birthday gift came, I ordered him a birthday gift. You know, something that he wanted, and you know, he's gonna be 25. So you know, and you know, and he works. He works. So you know, I told him, I'm gonna tell him, I said, this is the last big ticket item I'm gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you work, you big good buddy. You know, but it's something that he wanted, and you know, I know he don't. You know, when he was younger, he was into computers. You know, but I guess he grew out of it. But he still wants his computer component, though. I'll tell you that. You know, he still wants his computer components. And I couldn't get it for him for Christmas because it was so expensive. And you know me already. I go to Afrin. And actually, was it Afrin? No, it wasn't. It was. I forgot the other company that, you know. But anyhow, I was able to get it for him, and it was the cheapest price that I could find. So I was able to get that. And I've been calling him like, hey, I got your birthday gift. You know, come get it. He has not responded. I text him. Has not respond. So I told Ethan, you know, I was like, text your brother, let him know that I got his gift, and you know, so he contact him tonight. So he said he might come tomorrow. So I said, okay, I'll bring it home with me. And you know, so hopefully he's there. And plus I also had a keyboard that I had bought for Christmas. What did I get? I can't even remember what I got him for Christmas. Really and truly. I mean, that's just at the winter solstice. You know, I don't really celebrate Christmas like that. When I do, I only celebrate Christmas, but I celebrate it as the winter solstice. And only my kids will get gifts from me, okay? That's it. My children will get gifts from me, not my kids. My children. Yeah, I know. It's hard to change certain words that you've been brought up with. Once you understand what those words means and the true association of those words, you kind of have to become conscious not to use those words. So you know, we need to get rid of the word that we used to call our children, which is kids, okay? Is that number 32? I thought I saw it. Hold up. Let's see. Oh yes, KEI 4932. KEI 4932. Or L, KEL, something like that. 4932. Yeah. It's 4932 though, number 32. Yeah, so, you know, we celebrate the winter solstice. Not really. I say Christmas because, you know, I've grown up. You say Christmas, associated with the birth of Jesus Christ. When, you know, as you get older, you get more wiser. You come into knowledge, and you realize that, you know, I mean, even the Catholic Church, the ones who assign the date, right? I mean, it's funny how you have all these different denominations, but they still celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ on December 25th, right? Makes no sense, right? Even though the Catholic Church, no, they just selected a date to celebrate, and that date was Saturnalia. All right, before Saturnalia, it was the winter solstice. All right, still is the winter solstice. We're on December 25th. The SUN, all right, the SUN reaches its highest peak. All right, so they say that is the birth of a new sun. New York Predator Department, of course. See them over there. I can tell you, something just say, turn around. Again, that's silent sound. You know, turn around. There you go. Because normally they'll either be using their sirens or flashing their lights, right? As I've shown you guys many times before. So whenever you see me facing this way, all of a sudden I turn around and New York Predator Department, you know it's silent sound. Look at it. Right? You know it's silent sound. And then you guys hear the sirens, right? Okay. Oh yeah. But anyway, as I was saying, the winter solstice is an Egyptian. This is where, when I talk about the hijacking of other people, cultures, other people, belief system, to create, the Romans create their own version of it, which they call Christianity, you know. And, you know, Christians will say, well, I'm a Christian, but, you know, you can't be a Christian and say that being a Christian is associated with Jesus Christ. No, it's associated with the teachings of Paul. Okay, Jesus Christ is only an only an afterthought. But the majority of the teaching that they teach in the churches is that of Paul. All right, understand that, know that. You know, especially when biblical scholars, you know, go and look it up in the 1980s. Right, they had a conference. Right, biblical scholars all over the world. It was in Los Angeles, and after, you know, they've looked at the ancient manuscripts and so forth, and particularly in this Bible, we tell you that 80% of the sayings associated to Jesus in this Bible, Jesus never said. It's fake, right? It's fake. So many people don't quite understand that, particularly, you know, so-called Christians, because they like to believe every damn thing, you know. And when you don't understand, when you don't know, when, you know, you're just a believer, you're going to believe everything. When we as target individuals talk about the psychological operation like Zersetzung and Quantum Pro, you know, particularly if you're black, right? Your family don't want to believe you because they're ignorant to it. They don't know. People in your community, they don't know, because we haven't been taught these things, right? We have not. Our elders, our mothers, fathers, aunts, they don't have that knowledge. Very few of them do. And those that do, you best be assured that they are being attacked, right? Remember, I talk about the built-in programming within our subconscious mind, particularly if you're a believer, right? There is a built-in defense mechanism, not even a defense mechanism, but there's a built-in programming that when your people, or those amongst your people, start speaking the truth, right? It's like the Matrix, and one of the best person to talk about the analogies of movies when they and compare it to what's going on in the world today was Bobby Hemming, right? And when I became targeted, I started noticing it in the movies also, and I talked about this, right? I talked about this. Right? The very first movie I experienced that in was a movie with Christian Bale, and he was a POW. Forgot the name of that movie. But if you watch that movie, you'll see some of the hand signals I talk about. Right? And if when I say hand, if you watch that movie and just pay attention to what I say, they talk about the hand signal, like him right there doing the hand signal, the pinky finger, right? Okay, sticking mine out too. And I forgot the name of that movie, but you guys should watch it. The second movie was a movie with Nicole Kidman, and it's where people were being bodies were being taken over by aliens. Okay, and there was this one scene where I think she's in a hallway, right, and she's standing there, and then she does a hand signal, which is the upside down peace sign, right? You know. And I was looking at that, and I was in the movie theater. I remember this. I was in the movie theater, and when she did that, some people in the movie theater turned around and looked at me. All right, and it was like, you know, I had like a mixture of emotions. One is, you know, like I knew what was happening, right? They were trying to look, right? That they were trying to get me to exhibit what is called the fight or flight phenomenon. Okay. So they used to do these things to let me know either they are controlling people's mind through radio wave, microwave frequency, or people who have deliberately been sent into the movie theater who have seen the movie before just to target me when that particular scene happens, right? And so, you know, when you're starting to wake up to the programming and you start to see the psychological, what I call like the matrix. So the matrix, you know, see Neo, you can see the programming, the binary numbers, right? The zeros and ones. Well, for us who are able to see the psychological programming is recognizing the hand signals, because it's something that they do that attached to an anchor, right? So we're talking about triggers and anchors, right? And then learning how they would do what is called transference of these things. So they can create an anchor to a trigger. And what is a trigger? A trigger is something that you associate with something that's traumatic, right? Or something that is that reminds you of something, right? Or an emotional attachment that you may have had. So what they do is that they weaponize these things. But when they are engaging in what is called trauma-based mind control within society, right? It is to put you in a situation that they manipulate or they set up to cause you trauma or to have something done to you, right? That can cause you trauma, and then capitalizing off of this trauma to make you, you know, they create like let me give you an example. I always talk about this, right? So if somebody, like the death of a family member that's close to you, right? They will use that. So when you go to the funeral, most people wearing black, right? What is that, ice cream truck? Oh no, that was the ice cream truck. But anyway, so most people wear black at funerals, right? The next day, what you will see is that you will see people around you wearing all black. So the minute you step out of your house, your apartment building, what have you, wearing black. You're on your way to your destination, right? 99% of the people wearing black. And this will go on for about a month, right? While that's happening, they will get people to say the name of the loved one that just passed, right? Or even find lookalikes, okay? And so what that does, again, it triggers that emotion, right? And by doing that repeatedly, you become traumatized. It's a long process. Okay, it's not a quick process. It's a long process. So this is what they do, and how they do it, and also other things. You know, they can set you up to be robbed at gunpoint, like they did to me, right? They could constantly damage your property, so that you're constantly fixing things, replacing things to deplete your financial resources. And it happens in such a way where, in the beginning, you're not conscious of it because you don't know. You don't know, right? Because you keep saying, damn, why is my car being broken into, but they don't take anything? You know, why is my tires always punctured? You know, and there's no nail in there or something. Or even if there's a nail in there, you know, it is deliberate because it happens too often. Way too often. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that they would do. Right? As well as, like I said, as well as other things. You find yourself waking up, you know, every hour after the hour at a particular time, right? It would put like this. It wouldn't be the hour, but it would be the minutes, right? Because, you know, it's only 24 hours in the day, right? And when you go to sleep, you know, the hour don't really repeat itself, but the minutes do. So for example, you go to sleep, you wake up an hour later. Like for me, what used to happen to me, I wake up every hour, right? I just wake up every hour at the exact 32 minutes after the hour. So when I talk about how they conditioned me, that's part of the process, as well as every time I drove and I get a parking space, the vehicle in front of me or the vehicle behind me will have the number 32 in it. And that went on for years. Still goes on today. Right? That is part of psychological conditioning, or what is called coercive persuasion programming, in the sense of the word that that is under the umbrella of cognitive warfare. Now look, this is what is it? I think on my way over here today, a lot of clandestine trucks. Now I'm standing here, this is the second clandestine truck that one just drove by, and this one came and make a U-turn. Right? Look. You see what I'm saying? So they do that to get my attention, right? That's what I'm saying. They do that to get my attention. Because one of them just drove by. It's not the same one. It's not that one. But this one came and make a U-turn. Right? And what they're doing, because early on in the beginning of my targeting, when I realized what's going on, the clandestine truck was part of that psychological programming. And what they would do, because with my son, my eldest, who was young at the time, he was like around, what the hell is he doing? But he was around probably 5 or 6 at the time. So every other weekend I'll go pick him up, we go hang out, you know, we go to the movies, or we just go places, right? Go out to eat or have you, go into the city. You know, we was always going to the movies. That's one thing with me. And when we would leave the house, there would always be a clandestine truck passing by, and he would be like, "Look, Daddy, the guy on the used to be the clandestine truck. I have the ad. There's a person on it. So look, make a U-turn too. Look, what I say? Look. You see the pattern? Look what he does with his phone. Look, yeah, fuck you. So he has his phone in his hand, and he does this. Let me show you guys. See that? This is why, like I said, I record with one phone and the other one. So he has his phone like this in his hand, right? Okay. As he's putting his hand in his pocket, he literally pressed the on button on his phone while he's trying to put his phone in his pocket. And they make the U-turn right there. See? It's a pattern. U-turn, y'all, the pattern. So, we're heading to New York Predators Department. Yeah, fuck you, New York Predators Department. Alright? Now look how low this plane is flying. Is it a plane or a helicopter? Because I can't really hear it. It's a plane, not a helicopter. It's a small, is it a plane? It might be a helicopter, but it's flying very low. You can't hear it though. All this noise that's these cars driving by. But anyway, what was I saying? Yes, so the clandestine truck. So it had on the clandestine truck, it had an advertising, right, with the picture of a guy on there. And you know, when the guy was smiling, he has a space in between his teeth like I do. And my son used to look, and my son used to point, he's like, "Daddy, he looks just like you," right? So like I said, and this went on for a couple of months, but again, I never really recognize the pattern. Some patterns I recognized, others I didn't. You know what I'm saying? And then it's, you know, then I started recognizing, like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on here, you know? But this is what they would do. Oh, before I forget, so what happened first? This is what happened first. I came outside one day, and there was a poster, all right? And it was a poster that had a sketch on it, all right? And again, this is how they try to entrap you, because when they put you in this program and they microchip you, of course they got to drug you, you know, soften up your mind, so it's easy for you to accept the not accept, but it's easy for you to be programmed. They have to drug your mind. This is why in any mind control experimentation, drugs are used, and usually LSD, right? And that when you take LSD, your brain becomes very susceptible to being programmed. So I'm looking at this poster, and it says something like, somebody robbed the post office, right? So I'm looking at it, I'm saying to myself, did they sketch? Because the way how it was done, it was, and I talk about the mind control using silent sound, which is radio wave, microwave frequency, plus also through the BCI, right? So I came out my apartment building, and I immediately just walked over to the light post. Okay, so again, being directed to go to the light post. And your Predator department using the siren? Yeah, fuck you. Look at them. look. Using their foot going up there, right? And I'm saying to myself, that look like. So I was like, wait a minute, because I like something's going on here. So I had to call someone. I'm like, who does that picture remind you of? And I was like, does that look like me? And they were like, no. I was like, are you sure? They were like, no. Are you sure? They were like, no. I was like, okay, because I know I didn't do that, because I'm not, you know, what have you. But it is to instill fear and to try to set you up, because also that after that was when I started to see the Con Edison trucks with the picture of that guy that my son said, hey, Daddy, he looks just like you. So I want you to understand how they try to program you to create fear and a heightened fear, and then you're bombarded with being harassed by the New York Predator. I was being harassed by the New York Predator Department, right? And it was happening so frequently. But like I said, but it wasn't until I started recording, then they started to back off, right? And they were trying to get me not to record. They were doing everything, but I kept recording, exposing them. And now that they have been exposed in such a way, you know, people, the dark triad and position of authority, right? But he exposed us, so we're going to attack him aggressively now. Look. We got a yellow dot sleep on the floor. He's looking at me. Yeah, I got a red dot for their ass.
Next stop, Church Avenue and Rogers
This kind of symbolism. That's what they do. We got a couple dots for them too. That's it. I ain't scared no hell, no way. They're the ones that are afraid. Ain't no fear here. You stop coughing.
This stop is Church Avenue and Rogers Avenue.
You're Predator Dept. I love number 666. Look at that. 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons. Tell you, the religious fanatics. They don't even understand where that comes from. Because they don't know how to do any. See? What I say? What did I say? Let me tell you, I'm so good at spotting them out. Look, LZE, loyalty, Zersetzung exposed. There you go. I'm loyal to studying what it is that they do. They engage in Zersetzung and expose it. Anyway, well, what did I say? Right? I see. I can spot the religious symbolism, even though they don't really understand what it means. Right? They don't quite understand when it comes to the Catholic Church and the Bible. When it talks about 666, it's talking about Emperor Nero. Emperor Nero, who they say set fire to Rome, or to set Rome ablaze, to blame it on the Christians. That's where it comes from. See, when you have knowledge, the religious programming no longer works on you. Right? It doesn't work on you anymore. But it works on Europeans though. The Europeans don't know anything. They don't understand these things. Alright? So I'm gonna do a video on that, and there's certain things I gotta do to take away from them, or to give them a thorough understanding of the lies and the manipulation that they believe in. So I might have done a video before, I can't remember, but I'll do it again. Number 32.
Next stop,
Was
Church
that
Avenue, New York Avenue.
V or MEV? Number 32. But yeah. So you gotta teach the people, because when the people are ignorant, and the churches keep them ignorant, they don't quite understand or know what it is that they're doing. Right? Well, I shouldn't say they don't quite understand. They don't quite understand, but they know what it is. Alright? So I love it. There's nothing I like to do better than expose their lies and manipulation.
Next stop, Church Avenue and Brooklyn Avenue.
They prey on our ignorance because they know the truth. We don't. So they prey on our ignorance.
This stop is the Next stop, Church Avenue and East 38th Street. This stop is East 38th Street. Next stop, Church Avenue and East 42nd Street.
Hey, you remember Bob Doctor?
Alright, look at this.
Hey, Bob Doctor?
Please exit through the
Okay.
front door.
You said what? Hey, Bob Doctor, know you?
fine. So I'm gonna dive deep into that when I get in the house.
Got about nothing?
No, sir? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You gotta take the bus.
Oh, thank you. No, nothing. I realize.
I gotta drop you off on 47th Street, alright?
Yeah, the religious theme. I'm ready for them.
Fall asleep? You sleeping?
Religious fanatics.
Wake up, wake up.
So, Emperor Nero, associated with the number 666. But Negropean Christians are so gullible and ignorant. You know, they believe any damn thing. Right? They got phones that they can look stuff up. Look at the New York, put it to the bottom. Look at that.
Not grab you?
Look what you do.
Not grab you?
Huh?
It's an act. It's an act. It's all street theater.
You thought grab you?
Look.
Yeah.
See it cross?
You thought grab you?
Look.
No, sir, this
Do you thought I try out you?
My son back shot, yes.
Like that.
You can just walk past me and point. Look. You know, turn to the up in. What we got? A Sambina? Yeah, we got a Sambina and it's there. Hilarious. See? What I just talked about. So, the New York Predators Department using religious cult, what they call destructive religious cult, as part of their civilian criminal network that engage in covert drugging, covert poisoning, honey trapping. And they use. He didn't want to get off his truck. It's all an act, man. It's all an act. He didn't want to get off his truck. It's all an act. He saw the police there. You just saw the police, the New York Predators Department there. You gotta act up. That's all. Listen, man. I got their asses. They know it. They know I got them. Oh yeah. Keep telling them I'm gonna keep exposing them. Because I know exactly what it is that they do. So what happens when you have religious fanatics in position of authority? You're gonna get corruption. You're gonna get they are tonight. Your Predator Department.
This stop is Church Avenue
Anyway,
East
that's what I say.
48th Street.
Look, over there too. I like my every damn block. Look at that shit. Alright. And it's pretty chilly outside too, so it's not like it's a hot summer night. I mean, it is a Friday night, but still. Anyhow.
Next stop, Church Avenue and East Avenue.
See?
Please exit through the
Look
rear
at that.
door.
Anyway, as I was saying, whenever you have religious people in positions of authority, is where you'll find the most corruption. They will push their religious agenda, and for those of us who are not believers, those of us who know the truth, right, they're going to do whatever they can to silence us, to not let the truth influence religious believers, right? But you remember, they always talk about saving souls. They're not about saving souls.
This stop is Church Avenue and Utica Avenue.
It's a sick, twisted mindset that's sadistic that makes them do what they do. Because religious people are inherently sadistic because of their belief system. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, here they go. Oh, yeah. They know I got them. Look. They know I got them. They know I got them. They bullshit. Look. Now they sharp. Look. See? Look at them. Look at them. 67 precinct.
Next stop, Church Avenue.
They know I got
East
them.
52nd Street.
I keep telling them.
Please exit through
I am
the
an
rear
expert.
door.
I am an expert. Exposing what it is I didn't do.
This
They keep
stop is
proving me
Church
right.
Avenue
And why is
East
that?
52nd
Why are
Street.
they so bold? Look, the flashlight over there. Look. Anytime, man. Anytime. Are they searching somebody over there? Oh, those are securities. Alright. He going into the car. Really? You gotta just use your flashlight for what? Get the middle finger. See him looking over here. Alright. We're Zersetzung. It is a program that is part of the United States government. Decomposition of the psychology, societal status, economic status of an individual or group of people.
Please exit through the rear
And what's
door.
sad is that black people engage in doing this to me and others,
Next
and the
stop,
same thing is
Church
being
Avenue
done to
East
us
56th Street.
on a national level, right? On a systematic level. So when I post that article that talks about when we go to the hospital, when we get hooked up to these machines, that gives an evaluation or to find issues within our bodies that are unhealthy, that those machines, the algorithms, is not effective, but it's more effective on diagnosing white people. So the report that comes back is that you as a black person who might have a serious illness, when you hook up to some of these machines for testing, the machine will come back with a reading that is not accurate, right? So it treats your illness as less serious as opposed to a white person who has the same illness. When they hook to that machine, the reading that comes out is more accurate. All right, so like I said, I was gonna laugh because I told them, the Bible tells you, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because they have become too religious, too superstitious.
Next stop, Church Avenue.
All right, and our
Highway.
people continue to remain ignorant. And listen, I know it's not their fault. Right? No, it's not their fault. It's a built-in program. And the only how they're going to become awakened to it is when they get a serious dose of reality, and they will. But by then, it's going to be too late. That's why I record. That's what I want to show the world, show people who are curious as to what is going on. And not only do I just say, but I show you guys. I give you guys the explanation. I gave you guys the evidence. When I talk about direct energy weapons, I don't just talk about it. I give you guys the research paper, the declassified documents that talk about these things being developed. Right? So there's nothing that I say is based on any type of belief. Right? It is based on facts. That's why the Colin Anderson truck was around me doing the U-turn and stuff like that.
Please exit through the rear door. Next stop, Church Avenue.
Sticking his hand in his ear. Hilarious. Anytime. I tell them all the time. Anytime, make it happen. Let's go. No fear. Listen, I got over 9,000 videos on YouTube. So I've not just been doing this recently. I've been doing this for well over a decade and a half. All right? Over a decade and a half. So I got enough evidence, enough proof. So like I said, when you're well documented, you know, they're going to come at you very, very hard because they want to silence you. But the more they come at you, is the more you stand firm, the more you expose, the more you speak up and speak out. All right? Because remember, whatever they do to you will be done to them. They're not the only one that have secret societies that operate in covert warfare and covert psychological warfare. They're not the only one. See? They'll always talk about putting the fear of God in people. Right? But they're not God-fearing. Because if they were God-fearing, they wouldn't do what they're doing. And that's the thing with Christians. They don't really believe what they say. They're hypocritical. They're contradictory. They're deceptive. They're deceivers, manipulators, and liars. So who's the devil? Right? They're teaching you about the devil, but they're the devil. All right, thank you. Have a good night. You know what I'm saying? They love to talk about the devil. I'm putting the fear of God in you. But them motherfuckers are the devil. The devil is a deceiver. He's a manipulator. He's a liar. But they deceive, they manipulate, and they lie. Right? And because they think that they can go home and get on their knees and pray and ask for forgiveness is the reason why they continue to do what they do. Right? It is a mindset that is destructive. It is a mindset that the system used to entrap us, to incarcerate us, to abuse us, to manipulate us. Look, New York Predator Department, like I said, look at the flashlight. look, turn on the flashlight, look. Okay, let me take my phone out, man. Because you know what I like to do. You know what I love to do. Oh, you hear the sirens? Oh, you think because y'all are police officers that y'all asses won't get arrested? Look, oh yeah. Huh? Oh yeah. Y'all think because y'all police officers, y'all asses gonna get arrested? I keep telling y'all I'm gonna take all y'all qualified immunity away from y'all, and I'm gonna sue y'all personally. Oh yeah. Yeah, fuck you, New York Fecal Department. They got the middle finger. Remember what I say? They will use certain opportunities to target me, right? And they'll try to make it look legitimate. But I've shown you guys too much so that you guys should be able to recognize how they mask their targeting, right? As soon as he sees me, he turns on his flashlight, pointing my way. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, they're not getting away with this. They can't silence me. The only way they're going to silence me, like I tell them, put me in a box, okay? If you incarcerate me, I'm going to still expose y'all. If you institutionalize me, I'm going to still expose y'all. Because my purpose is greater than yours. And if y'all assassinate me or try to assassinate me, guess what? Right? You just proving me more right. And then the repercussion you're going to face. I keep telling y'all, my purpose is greater than yours. I'm about the truth. They're liars. They're deceivers. They're manipulators. All right? And they're on their way down. They are on their way down. That badge, that gun that they carry, all right, it isn't going to do anything for what's coming for them. Never forget that. All right? There comes a time when people are going to have to wake up and understand and realize what's going on, particularly as black people. If we want a future for our children, all right, you need to confront your pastors in the church and tell them to tell you the truth. All right? Or to tell them that, you know what, Pastor, you need to go study more. Because you have people who don't even believe in Christianity and know more about your Bible than you do, Pastor. I can tell you, these pastors are the ops. They are there to take from you. They are there to manipulate you, to keep you passive and docile, because they are the ops for our people. Right? I mean, you look at Tennessee. All these black people in the churches, these white, we live in a nation that is run by white supremacists. Whether they're Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. They're white supremacists because they maintain the white supremacy hierarchy. The Democrats don't get rid of systemic racism. All right? They just soften it up for us so that, we don't see it. Or if we do see it, it's not as bad as if you're living in a Republican state, right? Where it's in your face. Malcolm X said the most dangerous racists are the liberals. But they will smile in your face, shake your hands. Meanwhile, they are systematically and covertly enacting in racist policies and racist laws against us, and we can't see it. When you look at the people who call themselves eugenics or eugenicists, right, who created eugenics, it wasn't conservative. You know what I'm saying? It was liberals, wealthy liberals. When you look at who was carrying out some of the most grossest human rights violation and non-consensual human rights experimentation, it was liberals. It wasn't religious conservatives. There may have been a few, but for the most part, it was liberals. And like I said, when you don't know the history, they can fool you and manipulate you. I live in New York. How many people know that New York was the state in America that had the most Nazis? All right, you ever hear about Levittown? It was another town upstate New York, right? That was a Nazi town. All right, prior to World War II, I should say not World War II, but the Europe's Second War, right? You had Nazis in Madison Square Garden. They had a Nazi rally. Right? The history of New York. People think because we live in the Northeast that there wasn't any slavery here. But where do you get Wall Street from? Wall Street comes from the auctioning off of black slaves. From all the way to Maine, to Boston, Massachusetts, Connecticut. Right? But you see, they don't want you to know that history. They only want to talk about the South. They don't want you to know the history of the North and its involvement in slavery. They don't want to talk about that. Because they want you to think because you live in New York, you close proximity to white people, and white people ain't calling you the N-word in your face. You know what I'm saying? Right? But they'll sleep with you, they'll have kids with you. Right? And because we get to sleep with them, we think, we got it made. Right? But like I keep saying, in this current climate, and I said, listen, you could date whoever you want. But understand, as a black person, when it comes to dating white people, whether you're a black man or black woman, you're dating white men or white women, you need to be very careful and understand that a lot of them, they date you just to fetishize you. Right? As a father, I don't look at my male son and say, my male sons and say, hey, you guys need to get a white woman once in a while. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they tell their sons. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's a totally different mindset. They'll tell their son, you gotta have a black girl, okay? You gotta at least try one. This is what they tell their sons. You can sleep with her, but just don't bring her home. But if you do bring her home, just don't marry her. Don't have kids with her. And it's funny too, because it's not really funny, but the reality is that black women, that's a black woman, Negropean women, have more children with other groups of men than any other group of women. You understand? White women are a larger number of in terms of population in the United States than black women. But black women have more children by other groups of men than white women, Hispanic women, Asian women. You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. Right? And guess what? The majority of the men that they have children with, they don't marry them. They're not in a relationship with them. But you don't hear them talking bad about those men, right? You don't hear them talking bad about the white men that they have kids with that didn't marry them and might be the absentee father, or the Hispanic men that they have children with and are absentee father. Because we know white men and Hispanic men don't interact with their children more than black men do. You hear the sirens? When I speak truth, yeah. You see, I can tell them they get me fired up. They get me fired up. Let me tell you. Right? They don't talk about that, do they? But it's everything against black men. Black men are deadbeat dads. No, we're not. Black men take care of their children more than any other group of men in America. Black men spend more time with their children than any other group in America. Black men use more protection than any other group of men in America. So all they negative narratives is all lies. But our women believe it because they are being conditioned, they are being programmed. This is why they don't want to look at facts and evidence. This is why when you bring facts to them, they're like, I'm not interested in facts. Because we are conditioned to, it's where it's all about our feelings. So when I talk about cognitive warfare, neurocognitive warfare, the use of drugs, like pharmaceutical drugs, microchipping, right? Environmental warfare, like lead poisoning. That all falls under neurocognitive warfare. And then there's the cognitive warfare, which is the more covert psychological, the propaganda and so forth, the weaponization of social media, right? And cognitive warfare involves the use of the radio wave microwave frequency, weaponization of that electromagnetic spectrum to manipulate our minds and our bodies, to damage our minds and our bodies, to reduce our cognitive ability. Right? See, when we start catching on to what it is that they do environmentally, they move to other forms of targeting. Because they always have a plan. They always, what the military call having contingencies. All right? And they have to have contingencies that are at least all the way to stay 10 steps ahead. All right? So when they target you, and you start to figure out certain things, there are other ways that they're going to target you. Right? And when you expose them, there are 10 ways in which they try to mask what it is that they're doing, hoping that you don't recognize, most of it. But I recognize everything. I recognize everything. Like I said, I spent a decade and a half researching what it is that they're doing. Yeah, look. The fire trucks now. Look. I'm telling you, this is the proof right here. Look at my videos. I know I got a lot of videos, so you know what I'm saying? But I would suggest you look at the videos whenever I mention the New York Predator Department, because when I mention that name in the description or in the title, is because the New York Predator Department is targeting me. And I know it. I can expose them just by the things that they do and how they do it. Now look. See, the white vehicle came, stopped right there for what? And then goes over there. Oh yeah. But yeah, understand what it is that they do, how they do it. Most people can't see it. So they can get, people to attack me psychologically, but I understand that they themselves are also being attacked psychologically. If you want to know how, I keep saying, go look at the Darren Brown on YouTube. Get Darren Brown game show, right? Where the audience thought that they were engaging in a social experiment, and when they were in charge, or they had the power to change somebody's life for the better or the worse, right? And the majority of the people in the audience made it so that individual will have the most difficult time, right? Including in the coming to the ending of it where he actually get hit by a vehicle, right? Because of their, because of the choices that they made for that individual, right? And here's the most astonishing thing, okay? It was all an experiment on the audience to see how the audience would behave. Because every decade, I should say, every decade they do these experiments. They do the, what is called the Stanley Milgram experiment. They do the Stanford experiment, which is the Stanford prison experiment, to see how society, particularly American society, whether people are becoming meaner and more sadistic, or they're becoming kinder and more caring. And every decade, it is proven that people in America are becoming more sadistic, less kind. All right? So in the Darren Brown experiment, after the horror of the guy getting hit by a car, again, it was all, staged, but the audience didn't know. See, they thought that they had the power to destroy somebody's lives, and they were enjoying it. And that is what is called the group mindset, or the hive mindset, the sadistic mindset. Got the homeless, of course, digging in the garbage. Yeah, homeless guy. Of course, it shows up. You know what I'm saying? Look at him. Of course, it's all part of. Go and look up our coercive persuasion programming on the tactics. There are 7 tactics that they use, and I always talk about the homeless theme, right? You know what I'm saying? So look at the dude across there. Right? And but anyhow. So when Darren Brown, and they were all wearing masks. So he gave them masks to put on. So what does that tell you? You see, the mask that they put on for us as TI is the psychological program. So they can say it's all in your mind, because they engage in psychological warfare, right? Because they've been taught how to engage in psychological warfare. Okay? So they can always put it on you and say, oh, it's all in your mind, you're crazy. As a matter of fact, when I forgot to post this video, but when I got home last night and I knew it, I started recording before I got into the apartment. When I got into the apartment, I talk about how they use children. So they constantly use my grandnephew. He's like 6 years old. So I get into the apartment, and of course I'm recording, right? And as soon as I turn to hallway to get to my bedroom, he comes around out of the kitchen with his pants down, right? He got his sweater on, but his pants is down, running out the bathroom, going into the other bedroom. So I said to him, pull your pants up. So my sister was like, well, he just finished taking a number 2. And I'm like, okay, so why is he running out the bathroom? Right? Again, it makes no sense, right? You'd think that he would let you know that he's finished. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had children too. You know what I'm saying? So I know. My children have never used the bathroom and need to be changed. Let New York Predators Department, of course, exposing their shit. Right? I needed to be changed and run to the bathroom. But they do this specifically when they target me. And I knew it. That is why I didn't know if they were going to use him or not. But to show you guys what it is that they do, right? There they go. There they go. There they go. Right? So as I'm turning, so then he runs into the other bedroom, and I saw that his pants was down, but his sweater was covering, his parts up, right? You know what I'm saying? So I said to him, I said, go put on your pants. So my sister comes out, she's like, so my sister was like, oh, he just finished taking a number 2. So I said, well, you know, you should be in the bathroom and you should, you know, call and you let him know that he's finished. So then as I said that, he comes out of the bedroom, turned towards me, right? And I knew what was going to happen. So you'll see that I angle the phone so that it's recording, but you can't see, right? But I knew what I didn't know what was going to happen exactly, but I knew that whatever was taking place, I was going to say it, so you guys can hear it. So he comes out of the room now, turned towards me, lift up his sweater, right? And you hear me say, put your shirt down, man. Why you showing me your penis? And then she goes, oh, you're being paranoid. I'm like, but this is what I talk about. This is what they do. Right? Now imagine if I was recording and he was to do all if I put the phone and record, I couldn't show you guys that. And I wouldn't want that on my phone. But that is how they try to set you up. And using family members, like I said, religious fanatics. When you have people in your family who are religious and you're no longer religious, they will attack you in the worst way. Right? They will set you up and you need to be careful. Because I keep saying, when they love Jesus more than they love their children and themselves, that's dangerous. And if you are no longer religious, if you can't move away from them, then you got to know what's going to come. That's the only how you're going to deal with it. Okay? So, you know, I mean, it's ridiculous, right? But like I said, understanding Zersetzung and understanding the believer's mindset and the sadistic mindset that religious believers have, right? And it's built into their subconscious mind. It's a subconscious programming, right? And how it's built in is from when you're younger and you question religion, right? They will try to shame you, they'll try to punish you, they'll try to shut you down and shut you up. Right? That is a built-in programming. You know, you hear Dr. Ray Hagen said it. He said, you know, when he went to a conference and he heard these two brothers talking about the resurrection, right? How the Assyrian drama, right? The resurrection. That was a comedic myth. And he said, man, I heard that and I cursed these brothers and I told them that they were going to go to hell and they're going to be there. And then he said, you know what? The next year he walked past the bookstore and he saw the book, right? It's called the Assyrian drama, right? The Osiris saw and the resurrection. And he said he bought the book. I started reading and he said he couldn't believe it. You know, he said like after that he's like I needed to know more. And the more he researched, the more he began to understand. He said I got so mad because for 30 years I've been preaching a lie. I've led so many people astray preaching this lie. And this is what they're afraid of. Because you see, what they've done is taken our mythology along with other civilization myths and crafted their story, right? And so they'll come at you. They will come at you. And you see, white people, they know the truth. They know the truth. But as long as they can keep us as believers, right? Some of them are believers too. But a lot of them know the truth. And they have to act the role that they've been given, which is to preserve and protect their white privilege and white supremacy. But they know. You'll see some of them now on YouTube who find out the truth about Jesus, and it's Jesus is black. Well, yeah, because the people, you got to understand where Christianity was created, right? In Egypt. The majority of people who were in Egypt, even when the Romans invaded, were still black people, right? There was still the vast majority of people there. When the Greeks invaded prior to the Romans, the vast majority of people were black, right? the Arabs, the so-called white Arabs, well, they're a lot more whiter today than even when they invaded Egypt in the 7th century. You know, if you go and you read the book by Chancellor Williams called The Destruction of Black Civilization, and then there's a question that he was asked, it was like, what happened to the black people of Sumer? Right? But did you also know that the word Arab means black? Right? That the Arabs were originally black people. Right? You didn't know that, did you? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they got you fooled. I mean, you go to Arab nations today, you have black Arabs. But when they talk about Arabs, you don't picture black Arabs. You picture these mixed Arabs, right? But these people came at a later time, after they done lightened the population, the dark population. Right? You go to, you go back to the history of China. The first Chinese dynasty was a black dynasty. Right? And then they went through a period of whitening up the population. Same thing in Japan. So, they have made the world hate us, the Caucasians. I also say the white Europeans. They have made the world hate us because they have stolen our history. Even the religious Hasidic Jews. Not Hasidic Jews, but the religious Jews, right? The Orthodox Jews, right? When you go and you read their history, they converted to Judaism in the 10th century. That's why in Israel they can't take a DNA test. And those that do, what do they find out? That they have no ancestral ties to the people who call themselves Hebrews or Israelites. But you know who do? You know who do? Africans, black Africans. The Igbo people of Nigeria. Their DNA showed that they are of the Levites, right? The high priest. Right? We tend to forget, particularly with these Arabs, when they get all ignorant, and I gotta correct them because I gotta teach them. And they try to claim ancient Egypt as theirs. When you can look at the statues, you see how they damaged the statues, right? With the nose being broken off and the part of the lips being broken off, right? Even creating fake statues and fake, paintings, right? And they think that we don't know. They think that we don't know. And they have been hiding and scrubbing stuff off of the internet so that when you go do a search to look up for certain things, you can't find it. Right? Why go through so much trouble, so much length to hide our history? I keep saying, for white people, the only way that they feel superior and better than black people is because, they believe in their lie. Again, their belief system of white supremacy. They believe in that lie. Just like how we believe in the lie that they gave us, which is religion. Christianity, and it's not even, like I say, they don't even want to know or understand what the early Christians believed. Right? They walk around with a cross around their neck. Early Christians never used a cross. That's a Roman idea, to use the cross going forward as a symbol, right? So then you got to ask, why would they use a cross? The cross was used in those times to hang people, to crucify them. So why would the Romans do it? When I talk about how they celebrate destruction, they celebrate death. Christianity is a death cult. It's not a cult, not a religion that believes in life, right? When they say if you believe in Jesus, you have everlasting life. How you have everlasting life? Huh? How do you have everlasting life? Answer that. They can't. You know what I'm saying? They can't. You don't have everlasting life. Right? Because you died. When you read the Bible and Jesus says, about the second coming of man, and he said that these things will not happen before this generation passes. And they are using it up until this day. They were saying that 100 years ago. Generations and generations ago. Every generation. You're there in the church saying that shit. Right? And the sheep saying they bear, bear, bear. Don't think. When Jesus said in the Bible that these things will not happen before this. These things will not happen before this generation. These things will not happen. These things will happen before this generation passes. That's what he says. So everybody back then already died, right? So now there's going to be a third coming, or a fourth coming, or a fifth coming. Anything to keep you indoctrinated with lies, to control you, to profit off of you over their life. Right? I had the post today of the Finsdale Bible. No, not the, sorry, the Wycliffe Bible. Right? It was a printed edition, I think it was the 1800s. Right? That included the Apocrypha. Right? Now you hear all these scholars talk about the Apocrypha, and they was discovered in 1945 or some shit like that, or 1940s, right? But why do you have a Wycliffe version of the Bible that include the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Apocryphas? And it was published in the 1800s. So when I talk about how they lie, because they know that the majority of people don't know. But you see, with the advent of the internet, and so much information on the internet, right? They hide stuff also so that you won't find it. But you got to know what to put. But you don't know because you don't think. You only believe. You don't think. This is why they can hide it in plain sight. You know what they used to say, right? If you want to hide it from black people, put it in the book. Right? That's what they say. So when I talk about the Germany's first quilt at the Boston Museum, right? And then I go back and I put Germany's first quilt at the Boston Museum, and it doesn't show up anymore. Because they changed the title. Because when more and more people begin to look at what I say and go do the research, now they hide it. Right? They hide it. But I did a video on it to show you guys. So they can't hide it. But the image is there. They just renamed it. It's no longer called Germany's first quilt. Now why would they do that? And on that quilt you see black Moorish king, queen, soldiers. On one side you have Germans, and then the other, the middle is you have the castle with the Moorish king, queen, and the black people, really. And then on the other side, they're being attacked by wild men. And who was wild men? Was white Germans with hair covering all over their body. Okay? So come on now. Oh, look. Yeah, furniture department left. You mind loaning the bus, please? Thank you. Okay, let's do that open. That was a D51 MPV. Right.
and Linton Boulevard.
So they hide stuff from us. They continue to lie to us, deceive us, manipulate us because they know they've made us dumb. They've made us an ignorant people. Right? And religion is the number one tool that they've used to take away our intelligence. We just want to believe. We don't want to know anything. Right? And they manipulate us using science. Right? To remove our kings and queens, our protectors. Right? Within the society, that's why we don't have black leadership, good black leadership. All we have is pimp pastors, celebrities, and corrupt politicians. Right? And any black leader that truly love their people, they're going to neutralize them. You got to understand what's going on. And the only way we're going to get out of this mess is to have a shift in consciousness, a global shift in our consciousness. You look at what China's done. You know, we're going to have to develop a mindset going forward where we're going to have to raise up the next generation of our people to know. It's the only way we're going to survive going forward. They're eliminating us and destroying us in many ways that we don't want to recognize. But we want to bask in our ignorance of belief.
Johnson Avenue and Kings Highway. Please exit through the rear door. Next stop, Remsen Avenue and Lennox Road. This stop is Remsen Avenue and Lennox Road.
Yeah, I hear you.
Next stop, Remsen Avenue and Clarkson Avenue.
Oh, so see, I had to ask the bus driver to load the bus in. Anything to try to have me hurt my back, you know?
This stop is Remsen Avenue and Clarkson Avenue. Next stop, Remsen Avenue and Winter Street. This stop is Remsen Avenue and Winter Street. Next stop, Remsen Avenue and Rutland Road. Troy Avenue and Montgomery Street. Please exit through the rear door. Next stop, Troy Avenue and Carroll Street. This stop is Troy Avenue and Carroll Street.
Thank you. Have a good night. Yeah. Uh-oh. What do we got here? What do you got here? All these empty water bottles? Look at that. Hold up. I got mine. Look. Look, I got mine. Hold up. Let me squeeze mine. Oh, there you go. There's mine. Look at the three. Look at this. Look at it. What you call the look at the three perps, right? Hey, see what they do? Oh, they stand in the corner there, like, look how they walking. She's pointing back at her too. I tell you, the more they do it, the more they embolden me to even record them even more. So I keep telling them what they're doing. It doesn't have that effect on me. Ain't no fight or flight here. All right. Matter of fact, it just sometimes I just feel like I want to go outside and just record and just expose them. But you know, that's what I used to do. I'm not doing that no more though. You know, when I go to sleep, I want to sleep. In the house, chilling in the house. Look at her. Now it is cold out here. Look. What the hell is she doing? Oh, look, I see you looking. You gotta laugh, right? Fanatics. They're fanatics. It is cold out here, right? But like I said, when you have a fanatical mind, you know, you'll put yourself in danger for whatever cause they're engaging in, whatever lies they're being told. You know, that's the mindset of destructive cults and destructive cult members. They're sadistic and they're being exposed. And like I told them, my purpose is greater than theirs. Like I said, they should listen. But they only want to believe. So there you go. All right? Keep exposing them. Like I said, anytime. New York Predator Department. Then y'all gonna find out that when I say things, I really mean it. No more qualified immunity. Crimes against humanity. Treason. Oh yeah. All right? See, you'll never hear me say I believe it. I don't believe it, I know it. All right? And yeah, talk to you guys in the next video.